Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I am your host, Sarah Stephenson. This is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
And tonight we'll be reviewing... What were we reviewing, Mike?
Hostel, the 2005 movie. Actually, there was 3 movies. Hostel, which one? Hostel 2. And what was the other one? Oh, yes, Hostel 3.
Yes, even though in the third one, it doesn't deal with anything about hostel. But they continue using the name.
The same theme.
But they use the name, obviously.
Ripping bodies apart, so having really good, groovy stuff happening here.
Because Hostel, as you pointed out to me, Mike, it's sort of a place for...
A hostel is a reason. Probably the reason why it's called Hostel is because that's where they source their victims from.
Yes.
Okay? Mm-hmm. Right.
But
backpackers through
backpackers, packers who...
Yeah, but I think the third movie wasn't based in Europe. It wasn't.
It was based in America, in
Las Vegas.
In Las Vegas.
Yeah. But we're not going to review that one tonight. We're getting stuck in another franchise here. Aren't you lucky?
But this time it's a horror franchise, so this will be a lot at home.
For those of you who like blood and guts and gore and dead burnt bodies, you're in for a treat. Okay?
Yeah, it's made by an awesome filmmaker.
Eli Roth, he does get around. He's a friend of Quentin Tarantino's. I'll talk a bit more about him later on. But anyway, what we have here is a production, a horror movie. I can't put it any other way.
No doubt.
Produced by Eli Roth, Chris Briggs, and Mike Fleece, and drumroll, Quentin Tarantino. He's in there somewhere. I believe Quentin Tarantino and Eli Roth are friends. Yeah.
Cool.
Now, directed by Eli Roth, and it was written by Eli Roth. And actually, Eli was encouraged to write the story by Quentin. Nice. Because they're kicking around an idea about doing a movie, something like a documentary type thing, feeling sort of horror movie based on some actual killings, I think, in Thailand or somewhere.
Yeah, actually, exactly.
Yeah, and he said he couldn't find enough source information, so Quentin says, go and write your own story. It'd be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At first, the first movie, obviously, it was kind of a shock to the people in the country this is based in, because they were offended because they thought this kind of film kind of put them in.
Can we leave that to the end when I do the production location stuff?
I know, but that's what happened in the production.
And they thought they would see the Czech Republic and Prague, that area, in a bad light, thinking, oh, we're a third world country and we've got bombed out buildings still around here and stuff. Yeah, but Eli Roth made a good point. He says, well, you're saying that people might want to come to your country because you think it's full of naughty people and bombed out buildings, but they had Texas Chainsaw Massacre and people still live in Texas and still go there for holidays.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, they obviously aren't aware of the American film industry, and people don't really give a rat's ass about the Czech Republic.
Okay.
I'm sorry, the Czech Republic people, but they don't care. It's a movie.
Yeah.
It's a location for a movie. It is not real. That is why it is called a fictional story. Yeah, they said, somewhere in Europe, in an unknown country, let's bung a name on it. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go on, Mike.
Okay, what am I going to say? Rah. Budget, $5 million. Rather inexpensive little job, this one. Box office, $82 million. Not a bad sum. Quite a tidy return, that one.
Yeah, I did think the first movie... I think Mike would agree with me that the first movie was not... We both didn't think it was really... It started off very dull at first, then it got a little bit more interesting way to the middle.
How long was it? The first movie was rather long, wasn't it? Over 2 hours?
No, not 2 hours. 1 hour and 30 minutes, I think it was.
It just felt like it was going on forever. Running time, 94 minutes.
Yeah.
It felt like it was going for twice as long, because the first half of the movie, to me...
It was like a tourist video.
It was like a tourist video about some young hoons hanging around a European country, being totally obnoxious, getting into drugs, drinking, and trying to lay some local girls and tourists. And it was going, okay, when's the story going to start? And the first time I watched this movie up at 10 minutes or so, I turned it off. was the first time I watched it.
Yeah, the first time we watched it.
Because, what's this rubbish? I said, no. Then I actually sat through a viewing of it a couple of years ago, and I thought, okay, not bad, but they could have done something a little bit more interesting in a bit. They spent too much time in, let's do the backpackers party side of things. Let's go to another club. Let's have sex. Let's do so and so. They could have developed the storyline a lot earlier.
Yeah,
I think, and made it a bit more interesting, faster.
Yeah, I thought the
second. Delaying until the second half
I thought
of the
the
movie,
second one was an improvement.
Yeah, that started to develop a bit faster.
Yeah, in that one we kind of got the gist that these people are a professional group of people who do this for wealthy people, and they're keeping an eye on anyone who may enter the little local village, and whoever will be a good possible victim.
Yeah. We'll talk about the victims later on and how they do them and source them and whatever. But anyway, as we go along. Like I said, it was a good return for an investment on this one. Eli Roth and the producers should be very proud of it. Now, a couple of things about actors. Where are we? Where are my actors? Where are the actor guys? There you go.
But I often think that when they did Purge, that movie, people didn't understand that movie at the first one, but when you see the sequel, you get a bit of an idea more about it.
You should be able to pick it up on the first movie, not the sequel. If you don't pick it up on the first movie, you mightn't watch the sequel. Take Psycho. Alfred Hitchcock made Psycho.
Right.
All right?
Right.
20 years later, they made Psycho 2. Didn't they, 20 years?
Yes.
And what happened is, everyone knew what Psycho was about, and they wanted to go and watch Psycho 2. And they knew what to expect. Yeah. They didn't say, Psycho 1 was a terrible movie, I'm not going to watch Psycho 2.
Yeah. I'll go admit, though, you have a point.
Of course I have a point. I'm your father. Now, okay, I won't go through everybody in here because there's lots of other...
Yeah, I just stuck to the people we focus on throughout this production.
I'm going to mention a few of the actors now. If you can keep your lips stuck together for a couple of moments. Right. Jay Hernandez plays Paxton Rodriguez. He's one of the little tourist guys. He has a mate called, played by Derek Richardson. His name is Josh Brooks. And they met some guy on tour, a guy, Ollie Erickson, who's played by, I can't pronounce his name, Jorgensen, maybe, Johnson, whatever. It's Scandinavian name, I think.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't say your name. There's a couple of girls there. Jennifer Lim plays Kana. Barbara Nedjelakova, I think, as Natalia. Iana Cabre. Okay, that's why I'm not mentioning all their names, okay? I cannot pronounce all these Scandinavian, rusty type names and stuff, okay? Anyway, just happens, I will mention one more. There's a guy called Jan Vlasak. He plays a Dutch businessman.
Yeah.
I think he's a naughty guy. I think.
When this movie came out, I thought this would be focused on one killer, but as it turns out, it focuses on a numerous of people who...
Why don't you tell the story first?
Sure.
Okay. Now, before she starts talking about the post-production and everything else, we might as well get into telling about the story.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, we've both got the flu still, so bear with us if we cough and sneeze and wheeze our way through this production.
Yeah, well, I've gotten over my cold, so I've gotten...
I'm getting mine now.
So, I'll start at the beginning. The story. It begins with at another hostel, I think.
Hostel.
And these three tourists, guys, who are there on vacation, and they're there for a good time and a bit of rumpty bumpty.
They're looking for... they came to this area because you can smoke grass, marijuana, cannabis, if you will, legally there, go into cafes and whatever and smoke it off. And also sex is a bit free and easy, you know.
Yeah.
So they're hoping to get stoned and laid and have a wonderful time.
Yeah, then one night they get go back to the hostel and they're locked out because of a curfew, whatever.
Yeah, don't come back after a certain hour.
Yeah, then kind of enter another boys' apartment, to the hostel, I think, maybe. I'm not sure.
I
maybe.
don't know. Probably.
And he asks them back to his place and says, I know this nice spot in Prague that you can get laid and meet
have a
all
really good
the
time.
girls you could want
Yeah.
and possibly have a good, fun time.
Yep.
So he tells them about the place, and they take the first train out
To this little village.
to this little village. And it's a beautiful spot and all that stuff. When you say, Mike, for the location, what do you think of the spot they filmed, that part of it?
Well, I mean, you expect Europe, some of these areas, to have some old areas, okay?
Agreed.
Because Europe is an old continent, old communities there. But they did a lot of the filming around the old buildings, cobblestone streets and everything. It had this really nice old European charm about it. Obviously, the charm didn't hide the gore and guts and stuff later on. Yeah,
Before they get to the local village and stuff, they meet this Dutch businessman who talks to them, and he acts a bit peculiar. You know,
He's a bit strange, man.
His hands shaking, and he actually touched one of the boys' legs. I think
Josh's leg, and you think, well, the guy could be a bisexual, and whatever he would, whatever, and you never know.
Yeah,
He's just checking it out. Man. He's on holidays too.
Yeah, of course he was knocked out of their little their room. I mean, out of the
They had a cabin. A room on the train.
Room
what
on
do you
the
call
train.
it? Booth or cabin or whatever you call it.
whatever they call them. Anyway, they soon arrive at the Czechoslovakia, and it's a nice spot. And they get to the hostel, and
It's actually Slovakia.
Slovakia. Sorry.
Excuse me.
It's a nice spot. Of course, there's local boys who run up and down the street begging for gum and money.
Yeah, there's some street kids running around all the time for the saying gum. Yeah, and you got to if you don't give them chewing gum, bubble gum, whatever, they might beat you up in your our time or try to steal what you got, whatever. Yeah, really nasty little creepy kids.
Yeah, interesting thing is that when the director was filming this, he actually asked a few local kids to do that scenes, meaning they were not actual actors or anything.
It wouldn't take too much to run around there and say I want some gum and be little terrorists. Kids are like that.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a nice gesture.
Yeah, lovely.
Anyway,
but did he give them any gum? All right.
Anyway, so the guys check themselves in. It's nothing out of the ordinary.
Oh,
but
yeah, they have to share a room with some other tourists who happen to be females.
Yes.
Good-looking females, mind you.
Yeah. Two beautiful women who are very
gorgeous women.
Gorgeous, and they're willing to
Natalia and her little friend Bugalugs. What's her name? Svetlana.
Yeah.
Svetlana.
Yeah. So they settle in, and they get taken to a few nightclubs here and there. And on the first night, both boys get laid, obviously.
Do they? What? Lucky. No, good movie.
But that very night, their friend Ollie, he gets disappears, and their roommates just say he just up and left.
He checked out. He found a nice girl, and he went off with her. And he checked out. He's luggage, his backpack, and
there's a photo that he sent on his mobile phone. But it doesn't make sense because, according to the boys, the girl he left with was Asian, and he doesn't like Asian girls.
But she went missing at the same time.
Yeah, see, another girl who was staying with her Asian friend, she was there too, and she said that her friend went up and left, obviously.
Yeah, she's gone missing, just gone mysteriously as well. Mm-hmm. Same time, two at once. And there's a photograph of them with this thing behind them, a funnel or a spire or something or other.
Yeah, this is... Anyway, I won't explain that yet.
It comes in later on.
They also get another photo while they're searching for him, and it looks very funny. Like, he looks like he's asleep.
Photo of him, yeah.
But then we cut to a secret room where we see his decapitated head on something.
On a table or a stick or something,
yeah. And the guy just snapping a photo and sending it to the boys.
Yeah, I'm still alive and had a wonderful time, wish you were here.
Yeah, and the guy, this mysterious person, he heads down the hallway to the mysterious Asian girl that he was with. And we don't know what happens to her, obviously. Throughout this movie, there are some scenes where you don't see what becomes of those people.
They're usually, you hear lots of screams and everything, and then there's no more.
Yeah. Anyway,
there's a lot of blood and guts and gore in the movie to satisfy anybody.
Yeah. So the boys walking up and down this village, trying to find their friend. They kind of mistook a guy on the street who was wearing a similar hoodie jacket.
I think it was the same jacket. The guy just got it from me. Yeah. He was part of it.
Yeah. See, in this one, somehow the people's clothing, it gets removed off their bodies, and who knows what becomes of it. Maybe they might sell on the streets,
it was a nice orange Parker type thing, and the guy, I'll have that.
Yeah.
But it had a thing sewn on the shoulder. Mm-hmm. A little flag or something or other. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, I recognised the jacket. Yeah.
The boys make a plan of leaving the next day, along with the Asian girl I mentioned earlier, and of course they want to make one last hurrah with the two girls they're staying with,
sharing with, whatever.
And so they go to a bar and they get really drunk, and one of the guys decides to head back to the hostel, and unfortunately he soon enough he drives back to the room, but some mysterious men soon enter his room.
Yep.
And meanwhile, his other friend, who ends up getting passed out inside the club, inside the storeroom.
He gets locked in accidentally, supposedly.
Yeah, possibly a safe lock, or maybe, I don't know what it is.
Who knows?
Who knows? It may be one of those special doors that only opens from the outside.
And you had a key on it, so you can get in and out. So I just locked automatically, and he couldn't get out.
It was Joshua who gets abducted in this.
He was drunk enough to be easily controlled.
Yeah, he gets placed into a...
He felt sick and they put him on the bed or something.
Yeah, and
he wasn't very good.
And he gets abducted by these two mysterious men, and he appears in the unknown room that we don't know of, and so this Dutchman arrives, and he begins to make a plan of slicing and dicing, and
drilling and whatever he's going to do.
Yeah, he drills in his chest, probably in his
arms, part of his legs.
Yeah, in his legs,
and I didn't we figure he did something to his heels or something?
Yeah, he actually sliced into his heels, preventing him from running away.
Yeah, took his heels off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's disgusting, to be honest. Anyway,
yucky.
Apart from him, the other Asian girl I mentioned that was going to go with them the next day, she's disappeared too.
The second one,
Yeah. Anyway, we're left with what's his name?
Paxton. Just say Pax.
Paxton. Yeah. And he then tries to find the mysterious girls that have been partying with them and try to get them to help him find his lost friends.
Yeah.
Of course, they say that they went to an art gallery or exhibit.
Yeah, an art exhibit or something or other. Yeah. And he talks one of the girls into taking him to the art exhibit.
Yes. So they get into
bad move. Bad.
So they get into a car with an unknown man who knows the two girls too.
Well, yeah. I think the whole town knows the two girls.
Yeah. They head to the very big factory with a very big funnel that you mentioned earlier.
Well, that's fire or funnel will be part of the factory. Yeah.
A funnel type chimney thing.
Yeah.
And which is the same one from Ollie's photo.
Yeah, so what was he doing there? He's supposed to have left on the train to go somewhere else.
Anyway, they soon arrive there, and she guides him through, and one of the men, who as he's leaving, she asks, what's it like in there? And he says, if you can, what did he say exactly? He said something about, it's...
I didn't hear him properly. He said something about... cost you a lot or something.
It'll cost you a lot.
Yeah, something about money or something. Or we thought.
Yeah.
But he probably thought he was another customer.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's like a lamb to the slaughter in this scene.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
They head down inside the complex, and she then leads him to a room, and she goes on about saying that. What did she say? She said something about never mind. It's stupid anyway.
Just carry on and tell the story.
And he soon discovers what's going on in each of the rooms and sees that what they're doing, it's not art. It's practically torture.
It's torture, but in the most grotesque way. They're getting people's bodies and ripping them apart while they're still alive and stuff and everything.
Yeah. He gets grabbed by two of the men who were working there, and the girl continues laughing and joking and thinking, ha 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 ha, she's being paid, all that stuff. And he's locked into a room, and he's strapped down, and then they kind of left the lights off, and he begins to sweat it out by crying and being fearful of what's going to happen next. Mike, you were asking me, why did they leave him alone in the dark?
To scare the crap out of him,
to scare him, to make sure that he's fearful enough for the client, whoever he is.
Well, yeah, it's a mental torture as well as physical torture,
yes.
I believe.
So
yes.
I'll bring up to what this place is. This place is for wealthy people to spend what they want, to just use this time as a way of letting off steam by killing and hurting innocent people.
Actually, he saw Joss's body earlier.
Yeah, he does.
When he was going down the corridor, he saw a demented surgeon sewing up his chest or something.
Yeah, that's it. It was the Dutchman that was.
That Dutch businessman.
He said something about he always wanted to be a doctor, but
his
couldn't pass the bar.
He couldn't pass it because his hands were a little bit too shaky.
Yeah, and now he's just ripped him apart, making him look like one of those cadavers you've seen in medical school.
Yeah, left Frankenstein on a bad day, you know.
Yeah, that's it. I forgot that. Anyway, so this man soon arrives, and he's a little shaky when he sees the boy Maxton there, and he makes a plan on killing him and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And when he starts speaking in Czechoslovakia, I don't understand that scene, because all the time he continues acting like he doesn't know the language, but all that stuff.
Well, he's trying to. I think the thing is, he let the cat out of the bag about American victims cost more than other victims, or something or other, and he came and he started speaking another language to the guy, and he's saying, I'm not American.
Yes, exactly.
He said, I paid extra money for you, and the guy went out to complain, didn't he?
Yeah, he went out to complain, and then he he gagged Paxton in order to shut him up, so he could continue what he was going to do. Eventually, Paxton begins to throw up and starts. And eventually the guy takes the gag out of his mouth. He doesn't
want to die too early. Yeah, he doesn't choke out.
He's
a very compassionate man.
He plans on taking a chainsaw and tries to...
Yeah, chainsaw, Leatherface would have loved this.
Yeah, but eventually, before anything could happen, Paxton was able to disarm the man and was able to get out.
He broke away from he was tied to a chair with some chains up, but he was gradually breaking the restraints, and the guy didn't know this. When he came back, he was half free or something rather, and the guy fall over and it fell onto the chainsaw or something rather.
Yeah, it was disgusting. It was hilarious.
I can't remember yet. Somewhere.
So
Gohan falls over, accidentally severing his own leg with the chainsaw. There you go.
Paxton then gets up and gets out of the chair, and he quickly tries to make his way down the hall to the elevator, and eventually gets to I guess the guest area where the guest lockers are, and he steals some of the clothing. Oh yeah, I should mention he got two of his fingers here that got severed.
The left hand, wasn't it? Left hand. Small finger and one next to it.
That was what the chainsaw did to his hand. Yeah. He takes the little fingers, but we don't. But he lost them. He lost them along the way when he was trying to escape.
When he was on the trolley pretending to be dead.
Yeah.
Trying to sneak out. Yeah. Oh, which we skipped over that bit.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Anyway,
that was a bit gross.
He then goes.
Had a dead body lay on top of him and taken to the butcher. Where the fireplace was, and I cut up little pieces to throw them into the furnace. Yeah. That's a bit gross.
He eventually gets to the guest locker room, and he takes some of the clothing from their lockers and starts getting dressed. And one of the men who's a guest there comes there and says, "What was it like?" And of course, Paxton tries to make up a fat lie by saying that it was great and how he killed an American. And he's like, "Damn, that's like like a lot of money.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Americans are like the gold mine.
But they're the top of the pile money-wise, yeah. We found in the second movie,
yes,
that actually a bidding war goes on. They get the people's passports,
yes,
and circulate them through this black web, and people put bids.
Dark web.
Yeah, dark web, and they put bids on it, and a bidding war, and the top bidder gets the kill.
Yeah. So anyway, they circulate the stuff, and this is where he shows him a special tattoo of a wolf or a dog, a bloodhound, on his arm, and it indicates you're a member to the what's it called? What was it called? The hunting club. The Hound Hunting Club.
The Hound Hunting Club. There you go.
Yeah, and this is so it's very exclusive, like as in for wealthy people, like
the card for the Elite Hunting Club.
Okay, Elite Hunting Club, where people who are wealthy who can afford it can go in there and kill.
$50,000, not a problem to kill somebody. Have the joy of it.
Yeah, and it's really graphic and gross.
I've worked for people like that. I wouldn't mind killing a few. No. Only joking.
Anyway, Paxton quickly leaves, and he's about
to steals a car.
He's about to steal a car, but then he hears a girl back inside the
other
complex.
Chinese or Japanese, the Asian girl.
This is a callback to previously he told his friend Joshua about an incident when he was young, when he was well, maybe not young, when he tried to save a 4-year-old from drowning, but for some reason unknown, the lifeguard or at the time didn't bother to listen.
They didn't believe him. They couldn't see the child from where they were. And so they didn't listen to him. And then a few minutes later, he had the mother yelling and screaming and crying. The child had just drowned. And he wasn't going to let somebody else die. Yeah. Not in his watch. How's that?
So he quickly scatters down to the level again.
Goes back in the building.
The same man we mentioned earlier who was all braggy about killing people. And he earlier showed Paxton a gun. He plans on making it quick, swift bang. Right?
And he thought, no.
You're going to make it more...
Make it prolonged.
Yeah. We see him with a blowtorch, and he was burning the girl's half her face off.
Yeah, where I was,
it's disgusting. Left eye.
No, right eye, yeah.
No, I think it was left.
Sure?
I'm positive.
Sure. It doesn't matter. One of her eyes.
Well, her right eye, sorry. Anyway, I'm sorry, guys.
It wasn't a very good look.
It was terrible, and eventually he takes out the gun, shoots the man, and he helps the girl relieve the pain from her eye by cutting off, because it's already dripping down. There's no chance of putting it back in the eye.
Hurting, so he cut the ruby down, but
He then guides her through the complex, and eventually they arrive to the car.
A car park, and he stole a car, which had. Just lucky he had the keys in the ignition. See, people steal your cars all over the place.
See, this is the same car I think he arrived in,
I don't know.
Because it has a big bag of gum. No doubt to Anyway, doesn't matter. Anyway, he then quickly gets out of there, and he gets followed by the hunting club.
They don't want their victims to get away because they might tell somebody.
Yeah. Anyway, they then get back to the town, and he then spots the two girls with
the guy who sent them to the town in the first place. This young guy. They met at the hostel back in the other town. Yeah, he
then rams up the car and runs them all three, the two ladies and the man, over.
Yeah, and one of the ladies is starting to get up. I think the other two are dead.
Yeah.
And as she's starting to get up, the other car is following, runs straight over, and she's dead. Yay! Yeah. She's a nasty piece.
As they're driving through, the local kids, they approach his car and they demand gum.
So he had a big bag of gum, and we don't see it, but I think he cut a deal with them. So I'll give you this bag of gum if you stop the car coming behind us. So he gave them the gum, and then next minute you see the other car comes up, the kids are blocking the way, and some kids are up in the building's windows just near it. And they started throwing rocks and stuff on those guys and trashing the cars. I think they killed them.
Yeah, they did.
Nice little boys. And the guy and the little leader sitting there handing out gum. You did good. Here's some gum for you. And he had a big smile on his face. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Paxton and the Asian girl, they get closer to probably where the train station is, but the police barricade the area off. Because, I mean...
because I think they know...
Yes.
I think the police may know what's going on.
Yeah.
And they turn a blind eye to it.
Yeah, because we see them much later... Well, much much later.
Yeah.
I mean, earlier in the movie, that we see them at the same hunting club talking to the guys who are owning it, and I think that they are aware of what they're doing inside there.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Now wait a minute. What ending are you going to tell them?
Well, I'll get to that soon.
There's an alternate ending, so we had the one with the alternate ending on it.
Anyway, back to the story. Paxton and the Asian girl, they quickly get out of the car and quickly walk a couple of meters kilometers towards the train station. They get onto the platform. The girl looks at her face and sees how...
ugly she looks now.
Yeah.
Eye all burnt out and everything.
Yeah. The police and other members of the hunters guys are on the platform searching for Paxton and the Asian girl. Eventually, the Asian girl quickly moves out onto the upcoming train that's moving, and she jumps
right
on.
In front of it, and obviously, she is no more.
Yeah, Paxton, meanwhile, gets onto that very train, and he escapes while everyone is looking at the dead remaining girl.
And he ends up going to wherever. Stops in Vienna.
Yeah. Anyway, he gets there, and before he gets to Vienna, he hears the Dutch businessman talking on the train, and he then thinks this is my chance of getting revenge on him. So as he gets there, the Dutch businessman, he greets his daughter, I think.
A little girl, so a 6-year-old something?
Yeah, a 6-year-old or 7-year-old, I'm not sure.
Little girl.
And they head to the
public toilets. He goes one and she goes to the ladies' one.
Yeah, and he then notices... Well, I think I'll give you guys the version that we've all... well known, obviously.
The alternate version that we want, or the real one?
The real one.
Okay, the real one, the standard one. Okay, do you want me to tell them?
You tell them,
okay.
I think.
Okay, the original version has Paxton follows this businessman into the public toilets, confronts him, and kills him.
Yes.
And then leaves the area and gets onto a train and goes to wherever he's going to. Now, the version we have is the alternate version, which is the man goes in there and he was going to do something. Mm-hmm. He saw him there, and then he left there and went around to the other side where the girl was and took the girl and kidnaps her and puts her on the train with him, struggling. And he takes her away to protect her from her father.
Yeah. I gotta admit though, whenever I think of that scene, it makes me think back to the story he told his friend about how he tried to save a 4-year-old from drowning.
Yeah, and that was saving the little girl.
And while I don't think the kid would have been in danger by her father, but I did think...
but he's a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is, if you're going to watch the movie with the little girl kidnapping, the beginning of Hostel 2, Pax is having a dream about what happened, and it refers to the original storyline.
Yeah, the original one.
Yeah, where he killed the man and thought,
Yeah, I won't tell you what happens to him next. I'll tell that
No, we're not reviewing it. We're going to review it next time.
Yes.
But anyway, so there. We've got
that's
two different endings, so yeah.
Yeah, so that's Hostel, and, well, that's how the story goes in this one.
Yay.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Fade to black. There you go. Right. I haven't got much to say. There's not a lot of production details on this, unfortunately. But what I said before about Quentin Tarantino, he was inspired by different things to make this. He brainstormed an idea on a low-budget horror film based on the Thai murder vacation website he came across on the dark web. I wish I could get on to have a look. Tarantino loved the idea and encouraged him to start writing a draft, blah, 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 blah. And he was going to make it as a fake documentary to incorporate real people and real locations, but they couldn't get enough resource material, so they made up a story about fictional places and fictional people. He says, go forward, it sounds like a good groovy idea. Blood, guts and gore and dead burnt bodies and everything else. And that's what happened. So Quentin really inspired Mr. Roth to put this friendly little piece together.
Yeah, interesting thing, guys. The president of Iceland, for an official, he was the director at the time. He asked the president of Iceland for an official pardon for making an Icelander look like a drunk sex maniac with the character Oli.
Oh, yeah.
The president laughs and gives the director the pardon, saying it represents a side of Iceland not shown in films. Meaning, I think he was trying to. He feels like it felt more real.
The guy Ollie was a bit of a sex fiend and drug addict and everything, party animal, and not a nice guy, just full of crap.
There are. I mean, as Mike here, you said you didn't like too much of the weird drunkenness behaviour.
No, it's just I'd say the top for the movie. I mean, I've been on overseas holidays and stuff, and if anyone was behaving like that, they would be thrown out of hostels. You'd like to think. And they'd be thrown out of motels. They'd be thrown off trains. Yeah, you couldn't get away with the stuff they put in this movie. Honestly,
Yeah.
It's like, especially in some of those European countries, they got the codes of conduct. They just wouldn't accept it. Yeah, they would. You'd either be thrown off the train away, or worse, taken into custody by the local police for being disruptive. So yeah, it's and again they played it out too long, which drew the story. The story beginning on too long before it got into the meaty bits.
Yeah, so, and anyway, the Slovakian country and the parliament guys said in this in the statement the film was offensive
to them because
and he thinks all Slovakians should be offended too.
He did, yeah, because it painted to them. It painted their country in a bad light, saying everyone's going to think it's a bombed-out place with wrecked buildings and full of creepy dudes and whatever.
Yeah, but I don't think it was...
And he made a comment about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We made those movies there, and people still go to Texas, and they still live there. They don't care. And he made a comment, most people in America don't even know where your country is.
Exactly.
They've never even heard of it.
Yeah, if this was based in the so-called country that the creator, got the idea from. You say it was somewhere in China or in Asia?
Was it? Thai, the original one?
Yeah, the original one. If it was in that kind of country...
They would have a bit of grumble.
They would then grumble to hell by water and probably even ban the movie too. In some countries...
Well, they will ban it in some countries. So we do not want this movie shown in our country.
Yeah.
But they can't have it banned around the world.
That's true.
Which is a bit of a problem.
I mean, if it wasn't for Hostel, I would have not known a country like Czechoslovakia. They were.
Where's Prague?
Yeah, good point.
That area. Now, do you remember League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
Yes, sir.
They went to an old part of London with the cobblestone street-style buildings?
Yes.
That was in Prague.
Yeah, see, if it wasn't for this type of movie, I would not have known about a country like that.
Yeah. I'd love to visit it, actually. It seems like a very nice place. The Czech Republic, I might go for a holiday if my health holds up, if I get rid of the stupid bloody flu. Excuse me. Now, blah, blah, blah. Principal photography took place in the Czech Republic, and many scenes were shot in Český Krumlov. The torture chamber scenes were filmed in the wing of a Prague hospital that had been abandoned since 1918.
Ooh.
That's why it seems to be sitting there and looked damaged and bombed out, because they probably got bombed out in different times and filmed as repair and stuff.
Yeah, and there was no point in repairing it because...
No, because it was abandoned. So what they said, we use it, clean a few rooms up here, and went in there and made the movie. Mm-hmm. Cheap location, hey.
Well, I mean, if it's an abandoned building, you may not have a big problem with...
someone still owns it. Okay? The government may still own it. You may have to pay a slight fee for them, a licensing fee or rental fee or something. Yeah. Permission. You'll take your firstborn. Whatever. Rumpelstiltskin. Yeah. Now, critical response.
This will be interesting.
The critics, apart from two critics who obviously don't like this genre, most of them either liked it midway or liked it a bit more. No one liked it overwhelmingly fantastic, probably because it's a bit graphic in some ways, and it might be a bit too bloody for some people, especially the critics.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it, but there's parts. Hang on, excuse me. I do not like the sight of blood that much. I sat through it. Hellraiser, on the other hand, no. There's enough guts and gore and action stuff in parts of the movie to satisfy you ghouls out there, okay? It is good in that regard. Mm-hmm. The special effects make-up, everything else, you really believe it's happening to these people. Yeah, and that's what a movie is supposed to be.
Yeah.
The only fault I find in this movie is, like I said, the first half of the movie drags. It's about, let's get drunk, let's get stoned, let's get laid. Let's get drunk, let's get stoned, let's get laid. For about 45 bloody minutes. Mm-hmm. And to me, that part was boring. And then it got more interesting in the second half.
Yes.
So, I can't say too much more on this one because I have no production information. But what I will say here, is it's Eli Roth makes good movies.
Yes.
I won't go through a list of his movies, but he normally turns out a good movie. And this is a good movie. He should have probably got Quentin or someone look over his shoulder and look at the script and fine-tune it with him. Yeah. Because the front end was just dragged on a little bit too long.
Yeah, I think he should have not have... I think it would have been greater if he opened it with them getting on the train. No, I mean...
No, I'm saying, instead of having, let's walk around, let's go to another club, let's go to another disco, let's get laid again, they could have brought something else into it.
Yeah, I guess...
A cutaway to just the naughty people doing something, to somebody, something. Missing person report somewhere, look into it. Anything, but it just went on this blurb for the first 40, 45 minutes.
It would have been great if there was the missing person posters lining the streets where missing tourists, whatever.
Not in that, but just something going on apart from these three guys partying.
Yeah.
And that's got a bit monotonous after a while.
Yeah.
So I cannot give this a 10. There's no reflection on Eli, or the actors, or Quentin, or anybody else.
Or even Paxton, or even Josh.
No, but just that first 45 minutes to me was not used to the best advantage of the movie.
No.
So I'm going to give it an 8.
But I did like the suspicious looks people gave each other, like from the locals in the.
I think a lot of locals knew what was going on. Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Yeah.
But they might be suspicious of tourists anyway. Implied.
Implied. Making you wonder.
But they might think, are you going to be one of the next victims?
Making you think, who can you trust in that country?
Maybe it's still, that was what they're trying to convey, I don't know. But I can't give it a high note because they wasted the first 40-odd minutes of the movie and they could have done so much better with it.
Yeah.
It's a good movie, but it could have been better.
Yeah. I'll rate it now. I think I would say I would give it 8 out of 10. I mean,
same with me. Yeah.
I mean, that's how I feel about this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, if I counted how long it took, estimately wise, before it started bringing in breaking in the bodies.
I was watching the clock on I watch my movies on my computer screen.
Yeah. So it took like
office.
26 minutes for an unexpected twist in the story.
Yeah, and then nothing happened for another 20-odd minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where the problem was. I mean, nothing. It wasn't developing. It wasn't getting the
juices flowing.
Well, even if it weren't going to work on the horror part, like a suspense thriller build-up.
Yes.
A mystery, something. It's like a tourist video.
Yeah.
To a certain degree.
Yeah, like when I do videos where I tour around
selfies and stuff. Yeah,
places. What would have made this interesting if this was make this movie a little more interesting? If it was done in a found footage way.
What?
A found footage way.
Found footage could have been. I'm sick of found footage anyway. And no, but the point is that they could have done something a bit more of that. But anyway, irrespective, I've already said that. We're going back over what I've already said.
Yes.
But 8 from both of us. Now, availability, yes.
Amazon.
It's eBay. You can buy copies, new and used. And Amazon, you can rent it. You can buy it. Mm-hmm. There is another movie, I can't recall, I think it's called Nightmare Hostel or Dr. Rage, I think. It's sometimes when you pick going there, I saw that thrown in there amongst it. It was on about the same time. So when I did it, because it didn't have a date on it, so be careful you pick the right movie.
Yeah, guys, be careful of what Hostel, even though this one, this whole franchise obviously is, it's become a big household name now. Unlike the Nightmare Hostel you mentioned.
I can't even find a copy of it anywhere apart from on, say, Amazon or whatever.
Yeah,
and I'm not going to watch it because I can't find too much information out about it.
So this one, I think, is become a bigger name in the industry.
But if you just look at, when you go on Amazon and eBay, you'll see the and other places. Yeah. You'll see the actors there, Jay Hernandez. If you see him as one of the main actors there, that's the right one to get. And it's a 2005 version, which is the first movie. Yeah. We will be reviewing 2 and 3 over the next couple of days.
Yeah, yesterday when I was talking about I think it was today, actually, when we were out today. I was telling Mike here, I came up with an idea for my own Hostel story where a person is going over to the hostels, obviously, and as it turns, and one of the people who are bidding on him is actually either his stepfather or stepmother who hates him.
Oh, good.
And then his real mother or real father finds out about the betting and tries to go in and tries to save him.
Isn't that nice? Close family, hey.
As I said before, it's an interesting idea, and I wish it's just an idea. I'm throwing it out there.
So that's it. I have got no more to say. But again, like I said, Eli Roth is a good operator.
I agree. I mean, he's made a great career of making horror movies, along with other stuff too.
And he did this through, was it Lionsgate?
Yeah, he does it in Lionsgate.
And Lionsgate generally have a good products going for their distribution.
I was saying to Mike the other day that Lionsgate, it does a better job at making horror than Blumhouse.
I think she's trying to apply the Blumhouse to the bottom end.
Because Blumhouse, that's
unfair, but
they do a good
might need them one day.
They do a good job with the movies, but for some reason I don't know why they continue blundering out.
Maybe they're doing the bottom range of the industry for the independents.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe I know, but I wouldn't knock them because someone's got to do it. Look at Andy Warhol. I was talking about to him the other day. Mm-hmm. All those movies. Oh, and Andy Warhol Flesh, Andy Warhol Franco. I don't think Andy Warhol made any of those movies.
Not on his own, no.
He might have put some money up for them, or people just distributed it under his name, and he just put his name to it.
I suppose
he didn't. I don't think he had anything to do with the production of the movies whatsoever.
Yeah. So anyway, I just meant, guys, I just don't. I mean, the recent blunder movie is Firestarter, and I've heard nothing but no praise about it.
Yeah, but that's just a movie.
Because they didn't follow the story from the Stephen King novel. They went in a different opposite direction. And while the other one, the original one that was with Drew Barrymore, is closer to the original story as possible.
Yeah, but you have to understand, most people will get a book, and they will read it and get inspired by a book, and then they'll write a screenplay based on it, and it's not an actual retelling of the story. Yeah. They take some ideas and themes out of it, and they'll build up their own personal story.
And I think Blumhouse, the reason why they blundered is that they try to make out that the girl, the protagonist in that one, was they wanted to make it more of a superhero movie, like.
Well, that yeah, but
which is why they blended.
They're bending it too much. Okay, but
and which is one of the reasons why it's both horror and the superhero angle may not always necessarily mix.
It doesn't always work. Yeah, sometimes you got to draw the line. Yeah, okay.
It's just like when
Fair
they
enough.
did.
Do not take the P out of Blumhouse.
It's just like when they did. I don't know. They did Brightburner, and that was a horror slash superhero movie, if not super villain, I should say.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it deals with superpowers, and it's. I think according to one of the writers, it says it would be like if Superman became a bad guy instead of become the hero to the mankind, he becomes the scourge of mankind.
Pretty good, scourge. Good word.
It's a good word, then.
Anyway, yeah, but the point is, someone's got to do these movies.
I know. These movies are there to question reality.
Look at all those the old bottom dwellers who stole the B movies years ago.
Yep.
Okay, Ed Wood, one of my heroes, and lots of other people of his ilk. They made inexpensive movies. They weren't all that good, but there was a market for them. So someone's got to have a release somewhere.
I get it.
Yeah.
But
And,
I just wish I knew what is wrong with some movies these days.
No, it's like here we are. Right, I know what's wrong with the movie industry now, and some of you people out there might agree with me, some might disagree. The major players are running out of ideas. They're getting stale, and they're just street churning old ideas because, those ideas worked, they made money, let's do something similar. The independents are trying something a bit different. They're not being given much of a leg up sometimes, and they're doing it on a bit of a skinnier budget, and they can't get the product to the level they want to get the product to. Things like that. They've got to figure out somewhere along the lines that, hey, maybe we have to generate some new blood for the industry by helping out the newbies. I mean, where George Lucas got help that early in his career when he's doing American Graffiti. I think Francis Ford Coppola gave a bit of a hand up when he was doing to help get American Graffiti off the ground. He came on as exec producer or something. I can't remember the full story. I have to go and have a look. But he came there without Francis on board helping him out, even as an exec producer or something or other. He wouldn't have got the funding. Yeah, things like that. Give the newbies a go. And take on some new ideas, and maybe we might get some fresh ideas and some fresh blood, and re-stimulate the
film growth.
The films, the filmmaking industry. Because at the moment, I prefer watching old movies.
Me too.
There's some good movies come out, new ones, like we saw Resident Evil, new one, a few months back. That was good, but. In the main, I don't even look at the theatrical releases anymore for the new movies unless I've come across it accidentally.
Yeah, and all the ones I have seen that don't give a that are not streamed all over the world. I find out from a number of movie recaps and other movie reviews who hear about this from either those stream sites or just these movies just went directly to video or DVD.
Yeah, they go they slip under the radar.
And they slip under the radar
because
the last movie I was watching was called a slasher, and it came out in 2019, and I'm surprised that even then that I didn't even hear about it.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Good movies are going under the radar, and lesser movies actually making it to the screen and other places, and it's sad. I think really what's happened is when the COVID virus hit us a little over 2 years ago, a lot of the filmmakers said, well, it might be easier to stream it and instead of sending it through the theatres.
Yeah, but this movie I told you about was 2019, and this was before COVID hit.
Yeah, I know that's one movie. I do it about overall now. Because during the COVID, in some countries, the theatres closed altogether. So they couldn't release the movies, so they went streaming and direct to videos and stuff, and trying to push them that way.
And there's this other movie that was released in 2015, long before COVID even hit.
I know, but
and
you still
that
had
one
those.
still didn't. I still didn't hear about it until just recently. I mean, I just don't get it that why are these movies not being shown?
I just said that. If they make a movie before the COVID, and they didn't think it was strong enough to go do the circuits of all the theatres, they would have put it straight to DVD or straight to television. Mm-hmm. That's it, or stream it or whatever. Because they're not going to spend the money trying to circulate it. That's all. Yeah, and if it's a good movie, they'll chance at the theatres.
Or art theatres.
Or the art house. Yeah, an art house movie sometimes can be quite good because they get the independents going through there, don't they? And they're this is a bit different. I mean, the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, right?
Yeah, I've heard that one.
The original one was a European movie. Okay.
Okay.
And I saw that one subtitled. I hate subtitles. I have trouble reading them. However, that was a damn fine movie. And then they made an English-speaking one. I think Daniel Craig, played the main role in it. I think. It was just a remake of the European version. And honestly, I'm not knocking Daniel Craig or the people who made the movie. I preferred the original one. I liked the European feel of it, even with the subtitles.
Yeah, I mean, the other day me and Mike were watching Soldier Boy, and that was a subtitle-related movie, and it was done in Russia. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking Russia. I mean, I like the different culture, countries, and how this one was a pretty awesome story. I mean, it was based off a real kid.
Was it World War II, was it?
World War II, I think.
Yeah, World War II. He had a little boy who his family got killed off, and he got adopted by a captain, was
Commander
or something, or
whatever.
Captain or something.
I don't know the ranks over there.
A group of guys, and they adopted him as like a mascot, because he had nowhere to go, and in his own little way, he helped out. Yeah, and he even got an award for helping out, valor.
Medal of Valor.
Medal for valor. Yeah.
Yeah, and he really loved the soldiers, and he wanted to grow up to be a soldier like them too.
Yeah.
And
anyway, so I don't mind European movies. Sometimes, sometimes European movies from a Western perspective can drag a little bit because we're used to more action-paced, fast-paced movies.
Yeah.
But the storytelling is somewhat better in many cases. Mm-hmm. They concentrate more on the story and maybe a little bit less on the action. I can develop a story better. But sometimes say, well, I don't want to watch a drama. I want to see an action drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, drama with a bit of action thrown.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't get the mix right, but
the storylines are good. Yeah, when I showed this to Mike, he assumes that it's a war movie. Why is there humor in a war movie? But I told him that the little kid being in the production brought a little humor and a bit of lightheartedness.
I saw the original Mass movies and Catch-22 and Kelly's Heroes and other things. There's lots of different movies over the years. There's humour in war movies.
Mm-hmm, true.
You haven't seen all these movies.
Well, I never heard of Kelly's Army.
Clint Eastwood was in that one. And Catch-22, I can't remember if it was that one. But they had some really good, interesting movies. Even things like some other serious movies always had a bit of comedy element thrown in just to break the tension a bit. So the other bits of it came a bit like the reverse of a jump scare, a bit of a lull, so the next piece of dramatic action has a bit more of an effect. Yeah, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I certainly liked it when the kid acts all very...
Like a little soldier.
How he reports to his dad asking for
his adopted dad,
some jobs to do.
Yeah, and it reminds me of my little grandson. My little grandson's about 4 going on 5. Actually, his 5th birthday's next week. And this little boy's about 7, is he?
6 or
6 or 7
now.
Yeah, so he's just a fraction of a little man, and he's so damn cute. And the little boy was cute too.
Yeah.
So yeah, now it wasn't sickly sweet. Mm-hmm. It was done well. Yeah. The show was good. The little boy, as a kid, he did quite good. Yeah. Anyway, we weren't talking about that movie anyway.
Sorry. I mean, I wanted to bring it up because I mentioned on Facebook recently that I was watching it, and I thought it was an awesome movie.
That was bad.
And even though it's not really part of this genre, I just thought I might bring it up.
Well, that's good.
Anyway, so that's about it for us, guys. So, you guys know you can get it on Amazon, get it on eBay, you can get it on anywhere else.
If it's there, it's probably another streaming sites. You can probably find it. You might even find a cheaper copy somewhere.
You may even find it on Shudder, I think, maybe, because Shudder does all that horror-related movie stuff.
Now, the point is, when we do old movie reviews, which we're going to talk Sarah and do some old movies later.
Yeah, I'll try.
No, but the point is, there are some movies I've got in my collection. I have a huge collection. You'd die if I told you how many I've got. I've got over 6,000 movies. Okay? Now,
yeah. Well, I'm trying to fit in a fan film. Someone had asked me just recently to review their fan film. So before we can get after we get through the Hostels, I might start. I might do the fan film.
Well,
I was requested.
That is a thing we could possibly offer some of you guys if you got a good one. If it's like a holiday video, yeah. But if it's reasonable quality, I don't think it's any reason why we can't.
Yeah, and I'm trying to fit in a time to do the auditions very soon for my upcoming film project. Yeah. I mean, a lot of things have been keeping me busy, and most of it family related. So don't get me wrong, guys. I'm still working out a schedule to do the auditions, and at the same time get you guys to take part in it. Obviously.
What I was going to say about the podcast. With the if we do really, 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 really old movies, some may not be available.
Hear that?
Not in the retail sense, okay? Now, in a case such as that, I will have a look and see if we can download it from YouTube or a torrent. But I don't advocate that because it's not right, because people you should buy a copy or rent a copy. But if we do a really, really old one, sometimes you can't find the odds.
Yeah.
Regular ones you find, like what's the really old one? Let's say we did Freaks, right?
Yes.
If we did Freaks, okay. I don't know if you get Freaks at the moment. No, not that Freaks, the early one, 1930s.
How about that movie you said it was going to be a TV movie, but it was going to be a TV series, but for some reason it didn't happen.
The Ghost of Sierra de Cabre.
That one.
It was going to be the pilot for a series called Haunted, I think, 1964. That was the prime example. That was locked up for years and years and years in the vault somewhere, and I was waiting for it to come out, and I finally got a copy of it. I bought a copy of it. No, you stand there, look at me, and you don't. No, I didn't download it. I do buy copies of movies.
Yeah, and
now the point is, I got the original movie. I got the original movie I saw, which is the movie length version, but I got the original pilot version, which was about 45 minutes to 50 minutes long, because that was supposed to be the pilot for a TV show. When they didn't decide to go with the TV show, they put an extra 30 minutes for the footage to make it into a feature-length movie.
Yeah, when was it released again?
1964.
1964.
Yeah. But you couldn't get it. So in a case like that, if you could find a copy of something or other, and it's nowhere around, by all means, YouTube it, do a torrent download if you have to. Because you can't buy it retail. I can't see anything wrong with it.
For its time, I think they thought it was either too scary.
It was too scary for its time.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's pretty lame.
Yeah. After, say, let me see. It was released in the 60s, so let me see.
1964.
60s. Say after 40 years later, it's become...
No, it's 40 years. It's almost 60 years ago.
Okay, 60 years.
Almost,
you would think by the 80s or the 90s, they would have realised it's not as scary as people make out.
But no, it wasn't that. Look, when it first came out, they wouldn't go with it. Then they said, okay, bung, it got put in the vault, and then it got sold off to somebody, job lot somewhere, got put in the vault and just stayed there and stayed there and stayed there. And then got handed over to somebody else, and no one did anything with it.
No, but
that's what happened to it. What's the case? Oh, I saw it on television during the... Crikey, in the 60s. We had a copy of it in Australia here, and I thought, well, that's great, and then disappeared, never came back. I never saw it as a rerun anywhere. It fell off the planet.
Yeah.
And you go, wow, what a great movie. And never came on again. And I was being chasing it for years, and all of a sudden it appeared. Now, it's done the rounds of film festivals and university things. That, they've had different things, film thingies, film events and whatever. It's showing up an old copy of it. And finally, they've made a digital remastered copy of it, and I got a copy of it.
Yeah, but you've got to admit they should have...
You've got to chase these things sometimes,
yeah,
guys.
I mean, it's annoying that we had to wait this long for it to be released properly.
Well, I'm really sad because I had a friend that passed away a couple of years ago. I told him about the movie, and he wanted to see it, and I was chasing it, and it came out. I got a copy of it after it passed away, so he never had a chance to actually see it. And that's why I collect movies.
Yeah.
Because sometime next so many years, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, hopefully 40 years, I won't be here, but I'll have a big library here, which probably made 10,000 movies by then. I can leave to my grandchildren, who hopefully will be just as interested in movies as I am.
Yeah, let's just hope they don't delete them all.
And
only keep their only favourites.
No,
even though
There'll be a rule. There'll be a rule.
Yeah, because just think about it. Most of these movies, some of these movies are rare, mostly.
Some of the stuff I got are rare. The original one, Trip to the Moon by Meal, German guy, goes back to 1800s. Mm-hmm. One of the first movies. It was done on stage. It was really crappy. But it was one of the first experiments in real filmmaking. Mm-hmm. And you got to go, wow, this guy was really, really good. Today's standards, really, really crap.
Yeah.
But for what he did way back then, about 130 years ago, no.
Yeah.
It's good, and it's a good coloured copy, tinted. Yes.
Yeah, Mike and Oso and I watched briefly after we watched a bit of the Hostel movie. Yeah, Hostel. That we also watched a movie that sort of inspired the Death Stars being in Star Wars Destruction. You know.
Oh yeah. Okay, a lot. Real quick. I'm having trouble talking here now. All of you guys remember the first Star Wars movie, The New Hope, okay? Star Wars 4, okay? Where they went around the Death Star, going through that little canyon around the middle of the Death Star, and trying to line up their sights onto this little exhaust vent, and try to drop the little torpedo down there. Well, I told Sarah about an old war movie called The Dam Busters. Now, it was an English movie, I believe. I think it was English.
Yeah.
Or an American movie made in England. Can't remember.
I'll take one for it.
Whatever. The Dam Busters was based on an Air Force group who were trying to blow up, I think, 2 dams in Germany, but it had to come down a bit of a ravine type thing, fly close to the water while they're being shot at by these guns mounted on the turrets either side of the dam. They had a special aiming device that looked like a bit of a coat hanger. They lined up and had to drop it and drop this round bouncing bomb to help blow up the walls on the dam. And it was so reminiscent of that when you watch the Star Wars movie. So if any of you guys can get a copy of the Dam Busters, it's probably on YouTube, or you might be able to buy one or rent one or whatever. I haven't had a look at how it's available, and you get a copy of it. Have a look if you like old war movies and say, hey, have a look at the end of it when they're bombing those dams. And you go, yep, I can see Luke Skywalker and the Rebel Alliance doing this.
Yeah, because most of the shots in each of them different angles do make me think of how they did with the original Star Wars.
I think really they got the idea for that from the Dam Busters.
Yeah, like the lasers or bits where the...
Well, you got the flak, the traces and everything. Same sort of thing. Same as the laser torpedoes and stuff. Anyway, gotta go.
So that's about it for us, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this latest episode, and
I had a ball.
And be sure to check out Hostel and let us know what you guys think of the first one.
Yeah, guys. Yeah, look, as always, please do not be afraid of us. You can send a comment to Sarah's and
Boys and Ghouls
site and put a comment through and say, hey...
Well, not site. It's actually Black Cat Film Productions.
Or wherever you put the things, you'll put a comment underneath the movie or the podcast review saying, hey, yeah, really, really good. Loved it. Yeah, checked it out. Yada, yada,
Loved
yada.
it, hate it, blah, blah.
Loved it, hate it. I think you're an idiot, Michael. That sort of stuff. Yeah, really good. Yeah.
Yeah, so be sure to check it out and let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
And we'll see you guys for our next one. Bye for now.
Looking forward to it. Bye.